It's showtime, folks. Welcome in to Nissan Stadium, the TransPerfect Music City Bowl, the 2024 edition, as the Iowa Hawkeyes come into town to take on the Missouri Tigers. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. A special edition of our show today, as yes, we are the official pregame show. That's what we've dubbed ourselves, and Scott Ramsey kind of agreed with it. So that's what we're doing. But the Tennessee Highway Safety Office pregame show, again, thanks to them, Delta Dental of Tennessee, the Tennessee Education Lottery, and also our Music City Bowl coverage here on 102.5 The Game, presented by Hi-Fi Buys as well. JoJo, it is a beautiful day for some football.
It's stunning, and I just found out that this is the only bowl game that's being played today. So a lot of eyeballs will be on this game. It's an exciting game. I think Iowa and Missouri will be a fun game. They're supposed to schedule this game 4 years ago during COVID. It got canceled, but here they are now. And I will tell you, there are a lot of Iowa fans here, and there are a lot of Missouri fans that have come to town for this game. And I love it. I mean, these two fan bases travel, and I think this will be a great game today.
Yeah, I do too. And you mentioned the COVID matchup. You'll hear from both Eli Drinkowitz from Missouri and Kirk Ferentz from Iowa. Both were guests on the Chase and Big Joe show a couple of weeks ago. We'll play those interviews for you, and they both kind of referenced that. But I like the matchup between both these teams. You know, obviously, in this new era of college football, you're going to have some opt-outs, some guys that aren't going to play. But I still think that, you know, this matchup between both these teams should give us an exciting game.
Well, not only that, but two programs with coaches that have done great jobs. I mean, Ferentz has been there since, I think, the Kennedy administration. He's been there a long time. And then, of course, you know, Eli's come over in the last couple of years and did a great job of these programs. So they've both been competitive and fun. You know, the thing with Iowa had been over the last couple of years, like, oh, they're going to beat you 9-6. And
right.
Iowa kind of embraced that. It's been funny because they've embraced, like, we're not going to score a lot of points, but we're going to put you in the face for 60 minutes. And Missouri's like, all right, we're going to score. We're having fun. And Eli Drinkowitz has built something at Missouri, and it's fun to watch. Although they will be without Luther Burden today. He stepped out, which, you know, not surprising, obviously. But you know what? When a guy steps out, another guy steps up. So it'll be fun.
You will see Brady Cook under center for Missouri, who's had a very nice career for the Tigers. So looking forward to that. Cade McNamara, the quarterback for Iowa, is transferring yet again, looking for his 7th year of eligibility. And so Kirk Ferentz looks to start Brendan Sullivan at quarterback. So,
you know, you got to do what you do. It's an opportunity for the next guy to come in and prove that they belong. So, again, you know, and we talked about this last year, a couple years ago, about how you can springboard a bowl win in the next season because it carries into January and your workouts and the spring ball. That's not the case anymore because 30 or 40 of these guys from each team are going to be gone. I heard a coach say, Chase, and I forget which game it was, who says, we only concentrate on the now.
Yeah.
I've got the now with these guys. This is my team now. I don't worry about who's going to be here for spring practice or fall practice. I worry about the now. I think you got two good head coaches who are both concerned about the now. That's why this should be a good game.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you know, when we've talked to them and when we talked to Clark Lee, you know, when they were getting ready for their bowl game down in Birmingham, it's kind of like, I'm going to focus on the guys that are here and that want to be here. And we've seen some cases of guys that are leaving that are like, no, you know what? I'm going to finish this out. Like, I might be transferring or I might be going to the draft or whatever, but I'm going to see this through. And I respect the heck out of those guys that do that. I mean, look, I get you got to protect your future. And like a Luther Burden, for instance, like his stock's not going to change. I think he's probably a top 10 pick in this year's draft. And so, he has to protect the investment in himself. I understand that. But at the same time, I love seeing the guys that want to finish the job. And, you know, Missouri coming in here at 8-4, looking for that 9th win, you know, that's important to these guys. I'm not saying it's not important to him, but, you know, he's not playing.
No, he's not.
That's just kind of how it is.
Again, you only can control who's here today playing the game, and that's what you got. That's why it was a great point of the coach making about the now. We're worried about the now, and it's what we have. But I tell you what, I mean, it's just a beautiful day, and it's football, right? So what are we to complain about?
Yeah, we'll get more of a betting perspective a little later on. But for those of you interested, this line opened and Missouri is a 3-point favorite. It's now 1.5 points. Missouri is the favorite. The total today, 40.5. I've seen a couple of, like, ESPN has the score prediction, Missouri 25, Iowa 21, which would hit the over. You know, you would probably look at a team like Iowa and think, under 40 makes sense. I actually think we could see some scoring today.
It's just Iowa, man.
I know, but Missouri, I think Missouri's going to force them to maybe throw it around a little. But you're looking at a second or third string quarterback for Iowa, so who knows?
You know, when I was picking bowl games, I always pick who wants to be here. Right?
Yeah.
And this bowl game, both teams want to be here.
I think so too.
So to me, it's like, that takes the kind of the challenge out of doing those things. And so, yeah, I mean, both teams are excited to be here. The coaches are excited to be here. And again, another opportunity to play football. It's beautiful.
We've been watching, everybody out for warm-ups. They're not kicking off for another hour and a half. We're taking you right up to kickoff at 1:30, and then you'll hear ESPN's coverage on these airwaves. But, they're out here in shorts and T-shirts right now. That's the best part. It's December 30th in Nashville, Tennessee, and this scene's going to change in the next few days. But I think it's, 56 degrees.
Right.
It's sunny. I mean, we've been to some Music City Bowls in the past where it's been rainy, or I don't think we've had a snow game yet, but
we have not. There's not been many rain games. There's been a lot of fun. I mean, this bowl's fun. It's been fun throughout the years. We talked earlier about some of the best moments. The only bad bowl game moment was the first one. Virginia Tech and Alabama. It was played at Vanderbilt. There was an ice storm.
Yeah,
that was awful. I mean, it was, but you can't control the weather. But then the next year was Syracuse and Kentucky in '99. I mean, Bullock played that.
That was the first one here, right?
First one here. Beautiful. That night was beautiful, and it took off. The Tennessee North Carolina game in 2010 was fantastic weather, and on and on and on. So they've been lucky with some really good weather.
Notre Dame was a fun one.
That was a really fun game. LSU won. I mean, Notre Dame won the field.
I mean, Tennessee Purdue a couple of years ago wasn't bad.
No,
it was for Vols fans, but
Tennessee had a bad call go against them late in the game, really bad, and then Purdue won that game.
And then who was here last year?
It was. Thanks for putting me on the spot, right there. Oh, Maryland and Auburn.
Maryland and Auburn. That's right.
The Kentucky-Iowa game 2 years ago was terrible because Kentucky didn't have a quarterback. Remember, Will Levis set out,
right?
And then our boys from the Wade boys from Spring Hill, from Summit, they weren't prepared, and Iowa just came after them, and Iowa dominated that game. And that's the thing. You kind of tell early. Last year, you could tell Auburn didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
And Maryland, Tagovailoa's brother had stepped out, so another quarterback stepped in. That was a lot of fun. The Tennessee-Purdue game at 21 was great. The Auburn-Purdue game in 18 was a blowout, but it was fun because Auburn was up like 42-0 at the end of the first quarter, something crazy. And so that was fun. So these games have been fun for the most part.
They have. And that you keep mentioning, the teams that want to be here. That's my thing. If we're going to continue the bowls like we are, and I hope we do, like, Scott Ramsey and his crew put so much into this every year, and the TransPerfect Music City Bowl is now one of the go-to destinations because it's Nashville, Tennessee around New Year's. Like, who wouldn't want to be in Nashville, Tennessee around New Year's with everything that there is to do? But my thing is, for the kids, for the coaches, for the programs, if you're going to get invited to one of these, care, put something into it, because so many people behind the scenes are trying to make this thing go. I think the crowd will be good today. I mean, look, it's early. We've already seen, Missouri and Iowa fans. What's funny is the color schemes are very similar, so
that's right.
It's kind of hard to differentiate.
We were looking
but
like
they're here.
We were like, why are the Missouri cheerleaders on the Iowa side? I was like,
oh wait, no.
Yeah, that's the Iowa cheerleaders on their own side. All that, but downtown's packed. I mean, it's by the early today, it's packed with fans everywhere. That's what you want. I mean, this game is it is a little bit for us here in Nashville, but not really. It's for people traveling from Iowa, Missouri coming here, and Iowa travels well. Missouri evidently travels well, so it'll be fun to watch all that goes on. But again, we get to watch football in a beautiful setting on a beautiful day of two teams that have never played each other. They've never played each other, so that's the exciting part of that.
I love that. This is the Tennessee Highway Safety Office pregame show for the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin with you here live from Nissan Stadium. We will take you up until 1:30 when they kick off. And, if you're an Iowa fan or a Missouri fan, it doesn't matter. You're going to see some hopefully good winning football, which, you haven't seen a lot of in this stadium as of late. So, sorry, I had to.
No,
sorry,
come on
I had to
now.
throw it. I had,
I'm gonna cut
had
your
to.
mic off on that.
I had to. Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. You will hear from Eli Drinkowitz and Kirk Ferentz later on in the show. It is the Tennessee Highway Safety Office pregame show presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, Delta Dental of Tennessee, the Tennessee Education Lottery, and our coverage locally on 102.5, 106.3. The game is brought to you by High Five Buys. Your sports live here, 102.5, 106.3. The game.
Big man in the sky, show up Sunday morning, looking just like last night. Yeah, that's how I get by. Oh, that's how I get by. 1,000 miles of gravel, I've been walking with no shoes. No matter how far I come, I can outrun my roots. I think.
There I am. You see me now? Good job, Dr.
That is Rebecca Paul from the Tennessee Lottery. And again, always enjoy having her on as a part of the pregame show here at Nissan Stadium, a little over an hour away from kickoff. About 71 minutes to be precise, according to the game clock. Jason McKay, Big Joe Dubin with you.
Apologize. I guess I misspoke. We had one of the coaches did not tell us that Iowa and Missouri have never played. I thought one of the coaches told us that maybe. And then our friend Jason, listening and coming to the game, said that they played in the – let's see what game was this. The Insight Bowl in 2010. Iowa played Missouri.
Okay. So that would have been pre-SEC for Missouri.
That's correct.
They were still in the Big 12.
They were, yeah. So a rematch of the Insight Bowl. Is that even around anymore? I think it's gone and moved its way through.
I think there isn't. No, it's still around. According to our research and development department.
He let us know what was going on. Most famous Missouri alumni, Chase McCabe. You know who that is?
Most
looked this up a minute ago.
famous Missouri alumni. Non-athlete.
Non-athlete.
Okay. I have no idea.
None other than the famous Brad Pitt.
Oh, really?
So Brad Pitt is an alumni of the Missouri. Tennessee Williams is also an alumnus of. And the richest man in the world, Sam Walton, who passed away, but his fortune still remains.
Walmart?
Yep. He is a Missouri graduate. A few others on there that you might recognize name-wise. John Hamm, the actor.
Yeah.
He is from there. Sheryl Crow as well. Chris Cooper, the actor, Academy Award-winning actor. Kate Capshaw, who was married to Steven Spielberg.
Oh, yeah.
She was also in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And then Tom Berenger.
Tom
Major
Berenger.
League
Yeah,
is
there
a
you go.
Missouri graduate. During the next break, I'll look up Iowa graduates.
Our good friend Austin Huff, also a Missouri graduate,
He is. That's right.
doing mornings in Chicago
Yeah,
now.
Cork Bats, which is our
Yep.
research and development's favorite website.
I thought it was
our
Music City
ombudsman
Bets.
on there to do all that. So yeah, and then another one underrated, Peggy Ching, the co-founder of Panda Express.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's one
there
down
you
in Donaldson that
go. You
I
can't.
say hi
Hey,
to
you cannot
often.
find that anywhere else.
Right. You're not going to get all this good stuff that goes on here. But yeah, no, it was fun to talk. We talked to both Ferentz and Drinkowitz a few weeks ago about coming to this game. And look, when your coach is excited to play, they know it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Your team gets excited. So it was good to see these guys both talk about the opportunity and the adventure of coming to the bowl game and playing.
I laughed at Kirk Ferentz. I guess it was a couple weeks ago. He did a press conference before this, and somebody said, have you do you know? Basically asking him about his future. He's the longest tenured coach in college football. Has been
Right.
doing this a long time. And like, do you feel like you're going to be back next year? And he goes, "Well, I hope so, unless you know something I don't."
Right.
So and then when we talk to him, I mean, he shows no signs of slowing down at all. The Iowa kickers look to be the first in uniform that are out. And I got to say, when you talk about uniforms, Iowa has a very nice look.
But somewhere, and Jason Kemp, you might correct us on this, but Steeler influence?
Yeah, very Steeler-esque. Like if the Steelers still wore the block numbers,
Right.
which they should, like that's kind of what you get with Iowa.
What has the Missouri helmets come out yet? I like
I
the
haven't
big
seen.
fat M. I like
Yeah,
those.
the old school.
Yep.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
they do have one that's kind of the tiger that is on the black helmet that looks
That's
pretty
not
cool.
bad. Yeah.
But
And
I like the
with
old
the
M.
yellow tiger on
Yeah.
there. That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's funny. I like the block M because of one infamous college football play. That's the infamous where they gave Colorado 5 downs
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
1990 to score from inside the 2-yard line. And Missouri, I remember they were screaming, yelling to get 5 downs. They had the big block M's on the side of the helmet, which is not, you don't be remembered for the 5 downs, but as well, the uniform that day is very cool. But we have yet to see them come on the field.
Somebody wants to know. Our GM wants to know, why do you have Patrick Swayze behind you? On your camera.
I barely got that thing to work this morning. Let me see that. Oh, I don't know. What was it? Was it Roadhouse in Missouri?
Was Roadhouse in Missouri? I think it was, according to our research and development department.
So I think it was. I'm sorry. Yeah, I barely got that thing to work. All right. I'll change it here a little bit.
Okay, now that
God, I look handsome on the stream today.
you really do.
Oh, you want me to look up University of Iowa alumni real quick? I'll do that for you, Chase.
That'd be great. I know our listeners are just can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, it's a nice list here, and it's not pulling up on my computer, so we'll get to that.
Well, you know what? Let's hear from Eli Drinkowitz on the other side, and then you can look that up.
Okay,
How about that?
thank you.
We're live today at Nissan Stadium. It is the Tennessee Highway Safety Office pregame show for the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. Coming up next, you'll hear from Missouri head coach Eli Drinkowitz. That's all next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. This is the Tennessee Highway Safety Office pre-game show.
Sorry. I'm looking up the list. Finish your read there, Jason.
Yeah, Joe is working with research and development on famous Iowa alumni. We'll get to that in a second. Presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, Delta Dental of Tennessee, and the Tennessee Education Lottery. And also our coverage on 102.5, 106.3, the game of the Music City Bowl, is presented by Hi-Fi Buys. A couple of weeks ago, we had the opportunity to catch up with Missouri head coach Eli Drinkowitz as they found out that they would be taking on Iowa. Here's our conversation. There you go. That was Eli Drinkwitz, head coach of the Missouri Tigers, and that obviously happened a few weeks ago. And Diego Pavia will be back for the Commodores next year.
He will. I love the fact what he said about this is a get-to opportunity for his football team. They get to come out and play football again, get to come out and run out in front of their family and friends and play a game that they've worked extremely hard at. I love that. I think that sums it up so well, Chase, of the get-to opportunity to come out here and have one final rodeo with your boys, man.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Have you found some notable people for Iowa before we get to Kirk Ferentz?
So we've got a little thing, which is great. So Tennessee Williams, who was born in Mississippi, named Tennessee, got 1 degree from Iowa, and he got another degree from Missouri.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Tennessee.
So he's both. Okay.
So he could have been Iowa Williams or Missouri Williams or Mississippi Williams. But instead, he chose the great state of Tennessee to be Tennessee Williams.
We have Ohio Merit with us today. So
right. Yeah. So we have a few Iowa famous alumni alumnus that we have. One would be Ashton Kutcher.
Okay.
He is one. Tom Arnold is another famous Iowa
Very
alum,
funny Tom Arnold.
according to let me see what else we got in here to get for you. Let's see here.
I thought you had
Kutcher.
obviously George Kittle went to Iowa.
Well, that's all sports guys. We're
Yeah,
talking this guy.
It's kind of a big one.
Notable. The guy that created the show Coach, the title character of Coach was named after Iowa football coach Hayden Fry.
Oh,
So the TV show
I did
Coach.
not know that.
Well, my favorite actors, Terry O'Quinn. He was in Lost, was
Yep.
also in the movie Stepfather, is a famous Iowa alum. And then, of course, football-wise, one of my all-time favorite players is an Iowa alum, the great Mongo, Alex Karras, played at the University of Iowa. So these both schools have some nice tradition there with some famous alumni.
I like it. Again, bringing you the hard-hitting information that you need. Kirk Ferentz, he is the longest tenured coach in college football at Iowa, and obviously will be here today. We caught up with him a couple of weeks ago. You'll hear that conversation with Coach Ferentz coming up next as you listen to the official Tennessee Highway Safety Office pregame show here at the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. We're under an hour away from kickoff. Both teams are out in uniform warming up. By the way, do you like Missouri's helmets today? Going with the white helmet, the black uniform.
I do like it, but I'm kind of in love with the Iowa uniforms. Real quick before we go to the break, Jason Kemp again. Jason, thank you. We talked about the uniforms. Yes, Hayden Fry asked the Steelers when he first arrived at Iowa in 1979 if he could use their colors. Iowa had 18 straight losing seasons, and the Steelers were a winning culture in the 1970s that he wanted to kind of adapt to. Also, Tiger Hawk logo added in the original pink visitors locker room when he arrived to Iowa City. Remember, that's the locker room for the visitors.
Yeah,
it's painted in pink when they go in there. So there's your Pittsburgh Steelers, Iowa kind of connection today.
I love that. You'll hear from Kirk Ferentz coming up next here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Show live today, Nissan Stadium for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Pregame show for the TransPerfect Music City Bowl is all of the Hawkeyes now out on the field. Again, we were talking about the black helmets with the gold or yellow Hawkeye logo, white jerseys, gold pants. Missouri going with the black tops, black bottoms, and the white helmet with the Tiger logo on it. Looking, both teams looking fresh today.
You know, here's how long Kirk Ferentz has been in Iowa. He beat Nick Saban in his last game at LSU. I think it was in the Citrus
wow.
Bowl in 2004. Then Saban went to Miami for 2 years in Alabama, but that's how long that I think he's been there 98, 99 roughly. Kirk Ferentz has been there in Iowa.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's been there a long time. Missouri now coming out on the field. So both teams going full-on warm-ups as we're about 46 minutes away from kicking this thing off here at Nissan Stadium. Speaking of Kirk Ferentz, we had the opportunity to talk to the legendary Iowa coach a couple of weeks ago. Here was that conversation. That was Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz joining us, and appreciate both coaches for taking the time to come on with us. Really cool to be able to talk to them. We're about 34 minutes away from kickoff in the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. We'll get you set in our second hour for kickoff. Mike Organ of the Tennessean, who's been at, I think, every one of these things throughout the years. We will talk to him. Coming up next, Chase and Big Joe live today at Nissan Stadium for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office pregame show here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are 30 in the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl at Nissan Stadium. Alongside Big Joe Dubin, I'm Chase McCabe. Welcome in to the Tennessee Highway Safety Office pregame show. A lovely day. Beautiful out here at Nissan Stadium. And again, our coverage presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, Delta Dental of Tennessee, the Tennessee Education Lottery, and also locally by Hi-Fi Buys. You can hear the entire game will start right at 1:30 from ESPN, and that coverage presented by Hi-Fi Buys. So appreciate them. Joe, we could not be here at Nissan Stadium without one of our favorites stopping in, Mike Organ of the Tennessean. Mike, what's going on? What number is this for you?
This the 26th bowl.
I believe
it's the 26th bowl. It's my 25th.
Okay.
I missed the 99 bowl or 2000, the 99 season, the year after Tennessee's national championship. They went to the Fiesta Bowl, and Chris Lowe, our beat writer, who's now with ESPN, you guys, was the beat writer, and his wife was having a baby.
Okay.
So he couldn't go. So me and David Clymer and Larry Woody went out to Fiesta Bowl in Arizona and covered Tennessee, Nebraska.
Okay. Well, that was probably a good one.
It was a good one. Yeah. People were a little let down because Tennessee didn't go back to the championship or the BCS, but it was a great weather, and Woody and I got lost in the desert and barely made our way back.
And here you are.
And here you are. This was supposed to be the matchup in 2020, but COVID wiped it out. Now we finally get Kirk Ferentz, who's the longest tenured head coach in college football with Iowa, Eli Drinkowitz, who Vols fans may not love, but the head coach at Missouri. What do you think about this matchup between Iowa and Missouri?
Kirk Ferentz gives me the opportunity to bring up Woody Woodenhofer.
Okay.
They were friends.
Yeah.
So that goes back to their time in the Big Ten together. I think I like Missouri slightly, and maybe it's just my SEC bias, but I thought Missouri was good this year. I thought they were pretty decent. The opt-outs worry me, and I think that's why the line is a little tighter than it maybe we would have expected it to be. But I still like Missouri by maybe a touchdown.
What does this bowl game mean for Nashville?
It means that all the naysayers were proven wrong, Joe. I remember when the idea came up, I think it was 97, of Nashville getting a bowl game. Jenny Hannon was head of the National Sports Council. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, Scott Ramsey was not the originator of the bowl. It was under Jenny Hannon, and then Scott took over after the second year. And people scoffed. People laughed. Nashville for a bowl game, because back then all bowl games were in Florida. That's just all there was to it. And that was the payoff, was you get to go to warm weather, And the other thing is, and believe it or not, people said Nashville did not have enough entertainment to entertain. You go to Opryland for a day, and then that's it. That's what people said. What else are you going to do? There was no Lower Broad. There was a Lower Broad, but it wasn't Lower Broad. And we all felt, not all of us, David Clymer didn't like the idea of a bowl being here. Larry Woody did. They often went head to head in their beliefs, in their columns. And
Clymer not liking something?
I know. I wish I could remember what David said about it. I read it just the other day because I researched it. But it was a smashing hit the first game, and it was a terrible setup. Had to play at Vanderbilt. The water had cascaded over the stairs and frozen.
Yeah, it
was very dangerous to be there that night. Luckily, I took the elevator up to the press box, and I was okay. But everybody else, it was terrible. It was cold, and it still was a great atmosphere. It was not a great game. Alabama was not very good, but it still was a big hit. And we all said once they get over, it was kind of like parallel with the Titans. Once they get over to their own stadium and people know about it, then this is going to be a big hit, and it has been ever since.
It has, and I think the greatest thing they did, Mike, was they had a tie-in with the SEC from the very beginning, and not to knock, American Athletic Conference or Conference USA teams, but they had a tie-in with the SEC, and every game is at an SEC school, and I think that helped even more put it on the map.
Oh, absolutely, and even with the ACC, that was good, but they were just trying to fill it out. But the one thing they kept was the SEC all the way through, and that wasn't easy because everybody wanted the SEC. Every bowl out there that came about, and a lot have come about since, has wanted an SEC tie-in. And the SEC and the Music City Bowl has kept its, and it's continued to rise to where now the Music City Bowl gets the first choice of whatever team doesn't go to the playoffs or rotates with a couple of the other bowls.
So that first one at Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, Alabama, was that Sean Alexander?
It was.
It was.
Also Michael Vick.
That's what. Yeah, I was about
Yeah.
to ask that if Mike Vick was in that game.
I remember interviewing Sean Alexander at the brand new Lipscomb Academy facility. It was
Jeez.
brand new at the time, and that's where Alabama practiced. And usually I take a team, and then somebody else from the newspaper takes a team. So I'm not sure where Tech practiced that year. Probably at Father Ryan, if it was around, or up in Hendersonville, Pope or.
Why did when FSU came and it was 2007? I interviewed Bobby Bowden at Gallatin's indoor facility.
I remember
wow.
that. Yes, yeah. I took a picture of Bobby Bowden and Mr. Plaster. You guys may know.
Second, get my good side.
And gave it to George for Christmas the next year. I framed it and gave it to George.
That's
He
pretty
and Bobby Bowden chatting.
Oh, nice.
Mike Organ is with us from the Tennessee and here at Nissan Stadium, the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. It's hard to believe that the bowl at this facility is winding down here in the next few years. We pulled up this morning with the new stadium being built next to this one, and I couldn't believe how far along it has come. I mean, it's going to be here before we know it, and then who knows where this thing can go.
I know, yeah. When they move over there, I mean, that's when we got to start talking about trying to get in the college football playoff,
Yeah.
and a college football national championship. And Scott's aggressive on that. He's been very aggressive about doing that. We've got the FCS game coming the next 2
Yep.
years, championship, but he wants the big game. And the first thing would be try to get in the playoffs. And I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to look at how home venues did this year.
Yep.
And they did great for the home teams.
Right.
So what's it going to be like for the ones that weren't home? Or are they going to say, why did we not have a home game? We were in the playoffs. Why did
Right.
we have to play on the road? So I'm not sure it's a slam dunk. They'll stay with home venues.
I'm afraid they're not going to. I'm
Yeah.
afraid they're going to.
They
Well,
don't know what they're going to do.
and the bowl games are going to push for it too.
Yeah, the bowl
you know,
games want the home venues out so that they can pick up. They
'Cause-
can get involved.
Here's my thing. Like, if you're Nashville, you're going to go brand new stadium, and we're Nashville. Why would you not want to have us on the rotation?
Exactly.
Like, I get the New Year's Six, and they deserve there, but if you're going to add more, and I think they're going to expand the playoff again too.
they are. Oh, that's for sure.
You know, so
Yeah.
when you do that, like, why would you not have Nashville as the rotation of having a game every year, but also being in contention to host the championship? Plus, you see cities, Tampa, Orlando, that host multiple bowl games with an indoor stadium. It's much easier to do that.
Exactly. And when you got the indoor stadium, I mean, we looked up today, beautiful day, but there's been some
Yeah.
tough days. But yeah, if they go to 14 or 16, and I think that's what they'll do on the next one, then yeah, I think that, I mean, if Tennessee would have just played a little better or a whole lot better, they would have had a complaint about why did we have to go to Ohio State? Well,
Right.
now we see why you had to go Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State deserved a higher seed in the home venue.
With this game, Mike Organ from Tennessee and with us on the official pregame show for the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. It's hard to remember what downtown Nashville's like before this bowl game. But now, I mean, I was down there this morning and it's just tens of thousands of people spending money in the city. I mean, it's been a success since they moved over here in '99 with the first game. It's just, I think it's a win-win that everybody put all the effort in and it keeps getting better and better and better.
I went out to eat twice yesterday for lunch and dinner, and both times I saw Iowa fans out in Donaldson, not down here. I'm sure if I'd have been down here, I'd have seen them everywhere. But and of course, that's out near Opryland, so Opry Mills. So it's I wish I knew the number, but it's incredible the number that the economic number, the impact that this bowl has had total and every year. I mean, it's something that the city counts on. It can count on the revenue that this bowl is going to bring in, and week-long revenue. And it worked out great for this game being on a Monday. Fans from Missouri could drive in. Iowa could drive in if they wanted to, or it gives you that. And then you've got the holiday coming up. So
And a lot of people stay.
Yeah, a lot of people stay
Yeah.
because you're in a destination city. We were not a destination city when it started. So
Yes.
becoming a destination city was big.
Well, you guys brought the moment about the FCS championship coming here. I think Scott Ramsey has a vision of making this a championship city. Like, let's bring championships here. And like the softball they have in the summer in Hendersonville out there, all the softball around the country, girls softball. I mean, he's made this a destination for people to come, enjoy the city, spend money, and have a good time.
The first thing that I said, I found out that Scott had bid on the the FCS championship on November 22nd. So I the bid. So I called him and I said, "What's significant about this?" And he goes, "I said, what's different about this than the bowl game and the draft and some other things you brought?" And he said, "The big significance is this is a national championship."
Yeah.
And he said, "This
Yeah,
is what
love it.
exactly what Joe just said." He said, This is what I want us to be known as, is a city where the championships are played." And then I said, "Well, can this help you get the CFP, the FBS championship?" And he said, "I don't know." He goes, "It can't hurt, that they're going to see what we can do these next 2 years." And I think that will stay here too, guys. I don't think they want to go back to Frisco and play. Well, they're renovating the stadium, but it's still a soccer stadium. They play there.
Yeah.
Not a destination city. Seats about 20,000. They want to boot it up to about 30. And First Bank Stadium is Vanderbilt Stadium is perfect for that.
Especially with the renovations,
Brand
and everything
new.
they're doing to it.
Before we let you go, real quick, question for both of you. Mount Rushmore of Nashville people. Does Scott Ramsey belong? I know Larry Schmitto's on there for people what he's done for the city.
Yeah.
Where does Scott Ramsey? Is he on the Mount Rushmore of Nashville for all he's done for the Nashville?
That's a really
That's a great question.
Mayor Bredesen has to be on there
That's too?
because
I'll give
He brought so much. You're exactly right. I don't think you put Bud up there.
No. I mean, it's a really good question because he's.
I don't know that you put anybody from the Predators because there's not one defining figure. I think Scott's definitely a candidate. I think we'd have to sit down and talk it over a little bit. I could see him on there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking just I mean, I'd probably, off the top of my head, Mayor Bredesen, maybe even Mayor Dean, because Music City Center and some of the things that they both brought here. I'd say there's a good.
I mean, look, we're here December 30th. The stadium's going to be packed today.
Butch Spirited.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yeah. Butch, but I could see Butch and Scott being on there. But Scott's been in this position 25, 26 years now.
Yeah.
And you think what's happened in this city in the 26 years he's been in that position.
Oh, look, SEC basketball tournament.
Now look at it.
They don't want to leave.
And we've got that locked in.
Hey, and I know they like Atlanta for football, but I think they'll look at it.
Oh, I do too. I
think they'll look at it.
And I could still see. I'm not closing the door on baseball coming here.
No,
SEC
I'm not
baseball. I could still see it going over to First Horizon.
Well,
you've been on that baseball kick. Get off that baseball kick.
No, I think he's right too, because especially down the line, if there's a bigger baseball park here at some point, First Horizon's going to need things.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, lot to look forward to. Mike, always.
Great to be with you guys.
Always.
Enjoy the game.
Tell your cat and dog hi.
They said hi to you, brother.
Mike Organ from the Tennessean join us. We're about 15 minutes from kickoff. We'll have more coming here live from Nissan Stadium. It's the Tennessee Highway Safety Office pregame show presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, Delta Dental of Tennessee, the Tennessee Education Lottery, and locally, our TransPerfect Music City Bowl coverage is brought to you by Hi-Fi Buys. Chase and Big Joe hosting today, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. And good to get that word out, and I appreciate the Tennessee Highway Safety Office for all they do, not only with this bowl game, but everything that they do throughout the year. You can hear the anthem in the background as they're getting things ready to go here at the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin with you. We will have full coverage of the game from ESPN coming up next, all presented by Hi-Fi Buys. Real quick, JoJo, you got a final prediction?
Missouri wins.
You think so? All right. Missouri wins. We will honor America and step away. Kickoff coming up next here from Nissan Stadium.